Yeah.
Showtime.
It's go time. What's going on? Happy Monday to all. It is getting a bit nippy here in New York, man. Shout out to everybody. Hopefully everybody is safe with their family tuning in or listening. Hell of a day in the market for sure. We hit all-time highs across a couple indexes, which is always great.
Warm.
The market will keep you warm.
Market to keep you warm. They bundle up.
That is a fact, man. I'm gonna start really quick. It is my dad's birthday today. We just sang happy birthday to him about half hour ago.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to my pops. I know he's watching. Love you dearly. The matriarch of our family. We appreciate all that you've done and continue to do for us. So happy birthday. Blessings on many more.
Happy birthday to you, pops. I love your dad.
Thoughts and prayers to our homeland of Jamaica. Sure. We have a hurricane that is headed our way tonight and early tomorrow morning. Category 5, potentially maybe tones down to a Category 4. So thoughts and prayers are with all the families that are sure to be affected by it. And I'm sure after this, we'll figure out some ways that we can help the country because it will need it based on what everybody's saying. So thoughts and prayers to the island.
Yeah, for sure, man. Definitely, hopefully, it's not as bad as what it looks like it could be. But even Cuba and Bahamas is in the eye of the storm also once it gets through. So a lot of different places in the Caribbean are in trouble right now. It looks that way. So definitely want to send thoughts and prayers to all of those countries, everybody in the Caribbean that might be affected. Like I said, Jamaica for sure, but also for Cuba, and the Bahamas also for sure. Vitally important. If you have travel, you gotta check your travel, check all of that stuff, man. The weather, gotta watch the weather, man. It's it's a very interesting times that we're living in as far as whether you believe in climate change or not, but it's been a lot of historical things that's been happening as far as the weather over the last decade. So be mindful.
They said this is be the strongest storm to hit Jamaica in the history of tracking hurricanes.
That is insane.
175 mile upper winds. The sea level is supposed to rise 9 to 13 feet. You got the rainfall from Blue Mountain coming down to the city of Kingston. Make sure you check on your families for sure.
Yeah, please do.
Okay. On a lighter note, Blackout. We're back. Blackout on Wednesday at 10 o'clock. We had a great episode last week. Shout out to Joey Badass.
Yes, Joey.
Yes, sir.
A lot of them clips went viral.
For sure.
He was very introspective in his conversation. Salute to Joey Badass. So we back this week. We got a lot to talk about.
Shout out to Love, man. I felt love. That conviction of love. Thank you, Joey.
God not through with us, yo.
So we got a lot to talk about. We're gonna be talking about Trump aggression against Venezuela. What does that mean? Are we seeing another war? Or we might be entering another war potentially. We're gonna be talking about
the NBA gambling situation.
Wow.
100% NBA gambling situation. We're gonna be talking about the versus battle. We're gonna be talking about a lot of stuff that's been going on in culture, man, for sure. So Trump pardoning the head of Binance and not actually knowing exactly who he was.
It was highly recommended.
It's a lot to talk about.
Highly the email from that lawyer.
He said he was highly recommended. That's all.
It's a lot to talk about, man, for sure. So make sure you tune into Blackout 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday. And the last thing that I'll say is shout out to Riverside Church.
Yeah.
Myself and Troy, we're going to be honored at Riverside Church's gala. Thank you.
That's fire.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. This Wednesday.
Yep.
So shout out to, the Riverside Church, and that actually is definitely something that's means a lot to me because I actually used to play for Riverside Church. Used to be one of the best dealers. Well, at that time was the premier AAU program in New York City.
Oh, that's so dope.
So yeah, I used to play for Riverside for a couple of years. So my dad used to drive me down there to practice, and that was great times. I learned a lot, playing with some of the best kids in New York City. So shout out to my dad for bringing me down there. That's a full circle moment for me to be now honored by Riverside Church. So I want to thank Derek Ferguson and everybody at Riverside Church for honoring us. And then also we will be in Detroit, Michigan. We love Detroit. That's one of our homes, man. So Detroit.
When y'all gonna be out there?
Thursday.
Friday.
Halloween. We're gonna be in Detroit for Halloween, and we're gonna be speaking for Hoops and Culture, and that is at Wayne State University Fieldhouse. So get your tickets. We're gonna be signing books. We're gonna be talking. It's a trade skill expo. So anytime we get to go to Detroit, Detroit always show all the love all the time. Shout out to Ken.
Yeah.
Shout out
my dog. I gotta call you, my boy.
Shout out to Chill. Shout out to the whole team in Detroit, man. So that's our rundown for the week as far as what we're gonna be. And then Thursday we have a special LUIL episode. Young brothers that actually own a water company, and they actually sponsored InvestFest. They had bottled water. And one of the things at InvestFest a couple of years ago is that we ran out of water. So we ran into these guys a few years ago, and it's like, yo, we got a water company. We want to sponsor InvestFest. I'm like, perfect. It's actually perfect because we're looking for water sponsors. Long story short, a couple of years down the line, they linked back up, and they ended up being the official water sponsors for InvestFest VIP night. And there's an interesting story because they linked up with an older gentleman that actually owns a water spring in North Carolina, 200 acres. And they partnered with him. And now they're part of the business, and they have a bottling plant on property, and they're selling water.
Yeah,
alkaline water,
alkaline
water, glass bottles.
Yeah,
that's the key.
That's a major key.
That's the key.
Yeah, we get into all that, man.
That's a major key, man. So they out here doing their thing, man. So we got that episode on Thursday, man. So that's dope. Shout out to them.
Yeah, it definitely is a great one. Been studying water a lot lately. Shout out to Todd Davis. He's a cyclist, so he always knows everything about anything that has to hydrate you. So he's been informing me about a lot of things about water. So it was good to talk to these guys who are actually in the business of selling water, especially live. And I want to say that live, a living water spring that they're putting out as their product. We didn't shout out to Chocolate City. Can we just shout out Chocolate City real quick? We were in DC this weekend. Shout out to everybody that pulled up on us. Shout out to all my earners that pulled up to our EYLU meetup. That was incredible. Listen, man, there's just a happiness that I had all weekend being down there. Seeing us as professionals, seeing us having a good time. Shout out to Park. If you saw us in Park, the food was immaculate. DMV, man. Y'all got that. It's something special in the air out there, man. I gotta be honest.
There's no place like DC from an educational standpoint. Not to go too far on top before we start talking about stocks, but this is part of the educational conversation. It's very important where you choose to go to college if you're going to go to college. And,
absolutely.
That Howard University is just a special institution. They call it the Mecca for a reason. And, we just out there and we just randomly run into a lot of Howard alumni because it's Howard it's homecoming weekend. And we ran into the head of public defense in Baltimore. We ran into one of the top entertainment lawyers, and you're just meeting a lot of great people, and they coming back for their 20th year anniversary from Howard. And a lot of these people that, graduated from Howard. I mean, Kamala Harris is a Howard graduate. So their alumni association is extremely strong. And it also speaks to the power of networking. And I know we talk about education a lot as far as how college may not be, necessary, but I think it still does have some great benefits. And one of the top benefits is actually the networking and that level of camaraderie that you get. And that HBCU camaraderie is extremely valuable. And it's not just Howard, but that's where we was at. But that Howard University is something special, man. It's a special place For sure.
It's something in the air. Shout out to all HBCUs. Like, I know Virginia State had theirs this weekend. Hampton had theirs this weekend. Shout out to everybody that went to school. It goes back to school. I think it's important that when you go back, and we don't talk about this enough, but like what separates our colleges and universities from others is that alumni that come back, but they become boosters of the school. They give back to their schools, and that is an overwhelming theme at Howard. So that's dope. And shout out to you, Ian. Shout out to you. Shout out to Red Panda, the whole family.
We had a great time yesterday.
We had some fun yesterday, right?
Yeah, we had some fun. 2 hours, Stock Club call. Special guest Troy Millens. Man, people saying it's the best call of the year. I will agree. Speaking of which, the replay will be out tomorrow, Tuesday, 9 p.m. Central, and Telegram. Great conversation about what to invest in, what to stay away from, the blueprint to building wealth, the new exit number that you really need. That was a great revelation, and that'll be in there. If you want to join the Stock Club, go to ianinvest.com.
Yeah, we gave a few
for pulling up.
We gave a few things away. A few things away. EYL, you'll be on the lookout. We got a new case study that we're going to be putting in the chat. But yeah, man, it was a dope call. I'm happy to see that many people coming together on a Sunday to get information to hopefully execute on Monday morning. So shout out to you for that, man. That was dope.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Ian, any announcements?
Yes, if you want to get rich from the market, go to ianinvest.com. If you want to know where to get in, where to get out, what to invest in, how to get rich, market at all-time highs, go to ianinvest.com, join the Stock Club. Dubai on the way, and next week I have a super special announcement. Tune in next weekend. Power of partnership. Shadi, you got to come to Stock Club next too.
Yeah.
So
shout out to Stock Club, Red Panda, Rebellion.
The fans.
Big facts.
Shout out to Kathy. She said the call yesterday was dope, and thanks for CLS to change her retirement account.
Of course.
Shout out to you.
Shout out to my brother Edwin. Shout out to Teresa.
Edwin was good, man.
Yeah. So
yeah. Y'all know how this works, man. This is our disclaimer before we go any further. Do your own research. Our content is intended to be used and must be used for informational purposes only. It is very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. You should take independent financial advice from a professional in connection with, or independently research and verify any information that you found on our show and wish to rely upon, whether for the purpose of making an investment decision or otherwise. You know how this works. Continue to research, share the research. Let's build community. Let's build our brokerage accounts. Let's build wealth.
Yes.
Let's go, man. Let's keep going. This is an important time.
It's one of the most important times in history.
In the history of mankind.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be part of it.
And you got 14 more months.
Time, the ticker is on.
The time is ticking.
The ticker is on.
This is it. Okay, so Elon Musk, let's start with that. Elon Musk is the richest person in the world currently. But
publicly, no.
Publicly. Mm-hmm. But he wants to approve, he wants to have a $1 trillion compensation plan approved in a letter to investors and Tesla's board. Mm-hmm. He shared why he thought that this would be appropriate and pretty much said, like, you know, if he doesn't get what he wants, then he's going to walk away from the company that he's, you know, made obviously famous and one of the most valuable companies in world history. Now, it's important to keep in mind here. This payout package actually comes with benchmarks that have to be met.
Yep.
So the $1 trillion is the last like part of it.
Yeah.
If Tesla's valuation gets to $8.5 trillion, then his payout, then he'll earn $1 trillion over the course of that time. So the 8.5 is a lot from where it is now. I think it's at a little bit more than 1 trillion right now.
Mm-hmm.
So
I can tell you right now.
That would be, you know,
1.4.
Yeah.
A tremendous gain from where it currently is, but it gives him an incentive. Now, some people will say, okay, well, he already has a lot of Tesla stock. So even if like he's going to make hundreds of billions of dollars just from the Tesla stock, and then from the compensation package, so why does he need an additional, you know, and then, you know, okay, it gets to 8 trillion, he gets 1 trillion, that's 14% of the company's valuation. That's kind of a lot just from a payment standpoint. But then they're like, okay, well, if it gets to $8 trillion, the investors, I mean, that's a good thing for investors, right? That means that you've made 600% on your money and nobody's going to be mad at that. So But yeah, I mean, it's unprecedented that somebody would ask for a $1 trillion payment compensation package. So is that something that's reasonable? And as an investor, if anybody, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that's watching Market Mondays that might be invested in Tesla, and you should probably check wherever you're invested. You probably got to vote on this situation.
Yeah.
If you're invested in Tesla, is this something that you think you want to go through with, or do you feel comfortable risking Elon Musk walking away?
From a negotiation standpoint, I think he's done a fantastic job. To be very clear, they have some very tough benchmarks in him to hit before he even gets to the $8.5 trillion value to then get 1 trillion. But if we're going to be very honest, Elon's a once in a lifetime talent. And too often, boards that are not once in a lifetime talent wants to tell the once in a lifetime talent how they should operate. And given the business climate that we're in, even though this is probably the greatest era in my lifetime, we were talking about this yesterday, Troy, in terms of investing, this is probably the weakest class of non-exceptional companies that I ever seen that's publicly traded. So if he's seeing the gap, because let's be very clear, without Elon, Tesla essentially has no value, especially if he takes his talents to focus on Starlink primarily, which is the real gem of a company. I know it sounds like a lot. It is a lot of money. But if we're talking about driver of revenue, driver of ecosystem, driver of band, and I said this 2.5, 3 years ago, eventually he's going to go to chairman because Tesla's not the thing he wants to focus on. And now he's going to force his way to get 1 trillion or force a way out in terms of exit. And if you don't think this is having a significant impact, another once in a lifetime talent, Warren Buffett, for the first time, Berkshire got downgraded because the once in a lifetime talent is not in that seat. And because you have no great succession plan, no great product roadmap without him, he hasn't elevated corporate executives in the public so that the retail investor knows what will come next. He's in prime position to get this package. So without him, there is no company. In 2010, the stock was at $1.15. There's no value without him, if we're gonna be very honest.
Yeah, we had another once in a lifetime talent be voted out by his board by the name of Steve Jobs in 1985.
Didn't work. Shout to Scully, wherever you at.
Didn't work.
This did not work.
This will not work either. I think Elon has said that he wants a 25%. So that's part of it that makes it a little bit tricky. He wants a 25% voting control to stay fully committed. That's kind of like the threat, right? Like if I don't get a 25%, I'm going to take my focuses elsewhere. The problem is if he takes his focus elsewhere, what is Tesla? Because if you listen to the earnings call that they just had, they talked nothing about cars.
No.
There wasn't even a mention of cars. He did not mention anything about the vehicles.
Yep.
All autonomous, all robotics. I think he actually talked about like a robot doctor on the call, like preempted it. Didn't even get asked about it, but just decided that I'm just going to forward this information over. And so it goes back to how are they being valued, right? Is it just sediment? We talked about this yesterday.
Yep.
Some companies are just moving on set. It's not fundamentals at this point, right? Because Tesla, the automotive vehicle, when we looked at sales, I know sales were a little bit better this quarter, but for the past 2 years, they haven't been great. And we've watched the stock climb, and then it pulls back on weak earnings, and then the next day it's up $30. And then last year it dropped, and then people said, he's too focused on his government position. Then he decides I'm gonna pull back from the government, and he's back focused with Tesla.
Go back home. Yep.
So it's just moving on the sentiment of the CEO. If that CEO removes himself from that equation, you're in for a windfall.
$95.62 billion in revenue. Keynote though, gross margin 17%, net margin 5.57%. They can't afford to lose a generational talent. So it's a couple of ways to ruin a company. If you're an executive and you know that you're a once in a lifetime talent, and once again has not raised the profile of executive management, and all of the product roadmaps for the next 10 years is tied to you, they're between a rock and a hard place unless they have an executive who is an incredible visionary. But all the incredible visionaries are tied to other companies. And also keep in the back of your mind, OpenAI was stolen from him.
He's credited as a co-founder for that, but it goes into that mind, that visionary mind. He is the visionary mind, right? Like
co-founder credit with no equity is
no equity.
Nobody's bigger than the program.
Well, no, I just want to say this before you go into something else, because when you think about maybe a year ago, we were talking about keeping the main thing, right? And Tesla was the main thing. And
I told you he was never going to stay there, though.
It's generated enough revenue for him to now say, hey, I can take my talents elsewhere. I have Starlink, I have Neuralink, I have SpaceX, I have XAI.
This is one of my favorite segments with Rashad, though. The program, come on.
Nobody's bigger than the program, but you can't negotiate with terrorists. And yeah, he
is the program, though.
Nobody's bigger than the program.
But in Tesla's case,
that's
Elon is the program.
Then it's not a valuable company. Then if the company's stock is only
tied to one person,
then it's not a good company. Because say what you want about Apple, it's at an all-time high, almost 10 years after Steve Jobs died.
Yes, that's highest valuation ever. It hit $4 trillion today. But I'm saying
Microsoft
in the equation
is still running. Years after Bill Gates, years after Ballmer, it's still running.
In the equation of nobody's bigger than the program, who is Elon in that equation? Is he the program?
He's the program.
Yeah, I know that. I'm saying, is that what you're saying?
No.
If Tesla, what I'm saying is this.
Yeah.
There's two ways to look at Tesla. As a company that actually has real value and provides something that the world needs, as far as cars, and then potentially robots, and then autonomous driving, and in the next 50 years is going to be one of the most valuable companies in the world because of what they're providing, the services that they're providing.
Yeah.
Or it's a way to look at it as it's a company that's a decent company that provides decent products and has a rock star CEO.
And it's a lot of that. And if we're going to be very clear, Tesla has always been that. Tesla is not an exceptional innovation. Yes. Has it been a Microsoft, Nvidia, Apple? No, he was the driving force behind it. Is there other executive talent there that could take the realm? Yes. Will it have the blockbuster rise in performance? No.
Yeah.
And as an entrepreneur, though, Rashad, because I agree with your point about the program, the other part of the game is to be so exceptional to the company that you write the program. I just left from watching Tron the other day. Who makes the program is very important. Yes, I agree to the Steve Jobs point, but Tim Cook also, I'm not going to say he got lucky, but there's a way he created the value there in terms of being an operator and then getting in bed with certain people in hedge funds to make that a valuable company. You can also say that changed the structure of Apple, but you want to be so valuable that if you do leave, same way with Jordan and the Bulls, as an entrepreneur, that the value is with you if you're building the business.
So put in chat before we go to the next topic. Do you think that Elon Musk, if you're a shareholder, and then I know some of you are shareholders, are you going to vote? Would you vote for him to get the $1 trillion package? Because keep in mind, it is linked to the valuation of the company. So it's linked to the stock going up. Are you going to vote yes? Would you vote yes? Or are you going to vote no? Would you vote no?
I think this is a great comment. Tesla has been promising stuff for years and not delivering. But why would I deliver something of so much exceptional value to make the board rich if it's my ideas?
Yeah. The valuation getting to that mark is
dependent upon him.
It's dependent on autonomous.
Yep.
Like that's how it gets there. The robotics is how it won't be the selling of the Model S. It'll be the robotics. It'll be the autonomous vehicles. Like that's how it gets there.
And Elon, be careful because there's other ways in tech that can get you out of the seat. Going back to the Steve Jobs point. So when Steve Jobs was removed for Scully, the same fight that he was having, Elon is having now, Steve had then. And sometimes it takes you leaving and then coming back for the shareholders to understand your true value. But then the great part is Starlink is greater than Next, which Steve Jobs worked on next, and he kind of, I'm not gonna say lucked up with Pixar, but the timing was in Steve's favor. I think Elon has a few places where he can land and take those companies public and be okay.
Somebody said they up 125% on Micron. Shout out to them.
Good job.
Salute. Yeah, I think you put that in your post today. That Kanye line.
What?
I walk in Def Jam building like I'm the shit. Tell them to give me $1 trillion. I'ma quit. Like literally, that's what we're looking at right now.
Yeah, well, it says a lot about the times. Yeah, that's what Kanye said. I walk in Def Jam building like told them give me 50 million.
Yeah,
I'ma quit.
I'ma quit. So now he said, give me one
trillion.
Give me 1 trillion or I'ma quit.
I'm take my talent somewhere else.
It says a lot about the times that we're in.
Shotty flex real quick. Screen. Given the timing of when he's asking for it, leading into that downturn.
Yeah. $1 trillion or I'm leaving. Take it or leave it.
1 trillion.
2 Tech 2 Index. Can you talk about, there might be some new people, right? So let's actually just talk about the 2 Tech 2 Index before we talk about, what is 2 Tech 2 Index on a high level explanation.
I think that you only need concentration in 4 companies or 4 assets to make you rich for a lifetime. My formulation that I have given to the public, if I made you money from 2 Tech 2 Index, please put yes in chat. I think that you should have 2 index funds which anchor your portfolio. So if you miss out on a great company, they should be in there. Those tickers are VOO, VTI. The other 2 slots will go to tech companies, Microsoft and Apple. Quiz question for everyone. What percentage of VOO and VTI are tech related in terms of portfolio now? However, and it's a tried and true methodology for, I know Ray Dalio has his all weather, etc. But I think in the era that we're moving into, hyper concentration is going to be the goal. I've been saying that since 2018. So I think you only really need 4 great companies to tie your wealth to make investing easy and simple for you.
So would you keep running that strategy through 2027 or pause to stack cash and go all in when stock prices go down eventually at some point?
I want to be very clear. Everyone who is waiting for this pristine moment of this 55% drop, you're not going to have the cojones, como se dice, balls to do it when it drops 45 or 55%. There's no reason to stack money on the side waiting for a crash, especially given the return environment. The thing that's left out of The Big Short, which I love the movie, they weren't in an environment where you can get 700% to the upside. The person just said there was up how much in Micron?
Well, 150, 350. So
350 in 2009. If you were a hedge fund manager, you would be a fucking rock star. So for the first time in our history, Rashad, when you were financial advising, could you think of 5 companies that was getting 400% return in 2 years? It was damn near non-existent, like a penny stock, and it may last for 2 or 3 weeks. But with Nvidia, Microsoft, the tear that they've been on, Bitcoin, you don't have to wait for a historic drop to be able to get rich. I do want to say, though, when the move does come in 2027, should you have capital to the side? Yes. Should you stop investing now through 27 to take advantage of the move? Absolutely not. It's going to be one of the worst decisions in your life. And the crazy part is, I haven't talked about it, but in 2027, certain companies are going to melt up. There are going to be some companies that are so valuable that the economy is tied to, that the value of them are going to fly up as the market tanks, because it's the only store of value, quote unquote, on the equity side you can pour money into.
Man, you gotta slow down and say that again, because that, like, people keep talking about this supposed crash, and we talked about that kind of leads fear and gets emotion into it, and people get scared not to invest. But when you think about it, right, even in these crashes of 99, the dot-com bubble, right, there were survivors of that.
For sure.
And there were companies that thrived in that. Yes, a lot of them disappeared because they didn't have any value. And you can kind of see the writings on the wall for some of these companies that really have no value, right, don't have any real fundamentals. But the Nvidias of the world,
yeah, My baby. Microsoft and OpenAI partnership.
These
and
the pullback on that, like even if it does pull back, right? 15%, 20%, those companies aren't going anywhere.
They're not going. They are. We talked about it yesterday on Stock Club Call. We are in a war, despite some of you YouTube experts say that we're not. We are in a war with China, and NVIDIA, AMD, Micron, Dell, AS. They're in a war to fight China. It is our tech companies versus the CCP. If we lose, the American economy is done. Permanent number 2 forever. It's over with. Now, if we win, then we get to go on for another 33 years, 34 years of greatness if we win that war. Secondly, any investment strategy has to work for you for a 30-year period. So when people ask, hey, should I change the formula? If you are changing your strategy year to year, you don't have a good one. There's a reason why in the beginning it was 2 tech, 2 index, and not 2 indexes and 2 bonds. The bond market is decimated and done. Don't change your strategy.
Yeah. There's no point in doing that. Do you make audibles to it if you have to?
You don't got to delete nothing. My picks are trash. No, I'm rich in real life from my picks.
Oh, God.
I picked NVIDIA. I was the first Black person in the history of internetdom to talk about it. Go look at rolling out. Contribute more. We can go M for M. No. No. Independent when y'all first met me. Picks ain't trash. Your picks are trash. In real life.
Oh man. It never fails. Shout
I'm on my Derek Falcon. Hey. No, I called NVIDIA. Now I got $100,000. Who called NVIDIA before me? Go look at rolling out Ian Dunlap, Hidden Secrets of Investing. It's 2016. I got 100. Anybody else said it before me? Now, if you want to talk,
a honey bun.
Hello. This is just for performance. I've been meditating. I talked to my brother Shad all weekend. I'm in a good mood. Detroit, yada yada. DC. You gotta have the Detroit versus DC talk on Blackout too. This is my passion talking.
Yeah, I mean, have a plan. I think. I mean, even whatever the person said, great. If you feel that way, great. What's your plan?
Blessings to you. Yep.
But let's just have a plan, because what we're seeing now is that people have created accounts and they've made some calls, or they bought some stocks and they've made those stocks have appreciated and it's going past thresholds. And now the question is, what do I do?
Mm-hmm.
What do I do? Well, the question is, well, what was your plan? What was your plan? Was 50% gain your plan before you entered the position? People don't know. They're like, we're just making the money, which is a good problem. But now what, right? We always say, make sure that you have the plan, make sure that you have reserves, because at some point this will get corrected, and we're gonna take advantage and do it again. We're gonna do it again.
Yeah,
for sure. Okay, so let's talk about.
And if it was trash, Rashad would have told you, like, yeah, that shit, you ain't talking some garbage. I ain't even gonna hold you. I ain't even gonna hold you, because it was a certain time in the beginning. I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, those type of comments are just are weak to me, right? Like if you're going to
call out, but they're needed
in this sense, yeah. Right? If you're going to say something like that, right, have merit to it, but also give credit when the things are actually right. So we're not going to get everything right. I don't think there's any analysis or stock analysis who's going to get everything right. You can't predict it. What you can do is educate yourself well enough to give people positions, to have the courage to give people advice
in advance before any hedge fund does. I was the first one to say to fire Tim Cook, and y'all let everybody go on CNBC to say, cool.
So to critique that,
follow your plan.
Great. Follow your plan and good luck, man.
Critique your account.
I
took care of my son's college tuition when he was 3. He never asked to work a day in his life. Critique your account. And also in media too. This is part of the good cop, bad cop. I just chose to go back to being bad cop and let them be good, you know.
I'm just trying to
follow your plan.
I'm just trying to
follow your plan. Because once I learned how to monetize, hey, ooh, Ooh, baby.
I'm just trying to keep us here.
Yeah, see.
Keep winning. Keep winning.
Got you. See, Rashad, calm down.
Yeah,
Out the country
yeah.
play. Entertaining.
I said the red
5,400 on the check-in. I appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's keep winning.
That's all that matters in there.
Hit the like button and share.
On a lighter note, can I ask you, what stock surprised you the most this year? Because I want the feedback from both of you. And which stock, going back to the stock of the year, which ones do you wish that you had invested more in at the top of this year? Just off the cuff.
Whew. Which one has surprised me?
Well, I think every chip stock, that's what we're going to talk about next. But every chip stock has done good this year as far as Broadcom, MU, TSM. I mean, NVIDIA probably performed the worst out of all of the major chip stocks as far as really looking at it from that standpoint. AMD. So that whole ecosystem, that whole chip stock ecosystem.
On fire.
Yeah, for sure. All-star. This is their all-star. They're the all-stars of the stock market so far this year.
We said it last week. And we talked about it in January, but I think I'm happily surprised that Celestica has performed the way it has, right? You don't go into it thinking like, hey, this stock is going to grow 225% this year. You go into it saying like, I understand the space that it's inside of the AI revolution. I understand what it means to the data centers. I understand what it means to the hyperscalers. And if everything is according to plan, this could be a growth stock. Now, last Monday we were talking about it. It was at $272. Today it opened up at $313. It had earnings today, and it jumped up to $330 tomorrow morning. So, I mean, that type of growth, you just don't see that. But you a lot of times you just have to be in the right place. So that one surprised me. I think the one that I would have loved to invest in, and I did have it, and I took it out of the portfolio, was Robinhood. Based on everything.
Like long-term or option?
I had an option on it.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't know. Sometimes you overthink it. But based on everything that we had seen in terms of Bitcoin and everything we had seen from them when we went to their conference and heard about the new technology that they were coming out with and actually getting to sample the new technology. I mean, we left like, oh, I'm doing this. And I did. And I was like, yo, I'm getting in. I understand this. This is going to be big. This is going to be huge. The amount of users, how Vlad was looking at retail investors, not just as these average people. These are sophisticated investors. And not, it's not the typical quote unquote retail investor. His vision for what he had for that demographic was incredible.
And delivered on it.
And he smoked it. He smoked it. So that's probably my one that I was like, damn, I had it, and but you live and you learn.
Well, let's do this. Let's talk about the chip stocks because Qualcomm, NVIDIA, AMD. There's it's been a very competitive year, and like I said, just the greater chip ecosystem as far as ASML, TSM. It's been a lot going on.
We can't put Qualcomm in this. That's competitive with them.
No, well,
not the T bill.
As far as the the whole landscape of it, Broadcom, a variety of different things, and AMD's on fire for sure. And it's interesting about the AMD comment because Dave Shands was on Market Mondays a few months ago, and he was actually saying thank you because he was put into an AMD option from a recommendation, Market Monday's recommendation, and he's up probably 300%.
That was at the Houston book tour show, right?
Yeah.
I think that was before that, actually.
No, we was in a car coming from the Houston stop.
Yeah, because he was talking about it in the dressing room.
Yeah. We had just if we watched the Market Mondays, I just did a presentation on why I'm thinking AMD is going to have its moment, and then when we saw him in Houston, and then it pulled back. And he felt the way, and we said, "Look, bro,
Risk control. You told him how much Shadi to invest and not invest
exactly.
in the Trump coin weekend. That was a legendary.
It's a moment, bro.
Well, it was his first time trading option.
Yeah.
Yep.
True.
So I had to actually, get his phone and show him how to trade an option.
Yep.
And then he wanted to put more, which in hindsight, obviously he would have made money. But I was just saying, like, don't put
Risk
too much
control is
into it because, if things do go south, you don't want your first trade to leave like a bag,
never come back.
facing the whole situation. So, but long story short, it was a whole walkthrough process of how to actually do it. This is how you actually go about it. This is, with a contract, you buy one contract, you buy two contracts. And so Dave Shan, somebody that actually had firsthand experience as far as with that AMD trade, and he made a lot of money, still is making money. But that being said, there's a lot of people that have made money. EYL University, if you remember, Troy does his options class, and he's talked about MU, ASML, TSM, a bunch of these different chip stocks. So the question now is that if you study any stocks come down after they go up. That's the nature of it. So people that are up very big on their AMD options, on their MU options, and even if it's a leap, if they're out to 2027, what you would think, even if it comes down, they still got more time to go back up. Like, is it time to start taking money, or is it enough time to just let it sit and still build?
Good question. I think this is part of that the part where what's your plan? I'll give you a perfect example. We've been in Micron since December of last year when we were talking about it here on Market Mondays.
Yep.
We watched those contracts climb. We watched those contracts depreciate first. Let's just get that out the way, right? So when we had Micron, I think it was like the 110 call, originally the 130 call, and then Micron fell down to 100. Then we got the 110 call, and then Micron fell down to 87. Some people grabbed it down there. I said, we're not moving. This is why we buy time, because I believe in the company. I understand what the company does. I understand the fundamentals. I understand the space that it has. Fast forward to where it's at now, hitting its all-time high at 225 this morning. Have we hit our thresholds? And so that first threshold for me is always, let me grab multiple contracts. I know some people were like, well, I can only buy one. That's great. Well, the next time, let's buy two at the minimum. Why? Because I want 100%. So once I get 100% from that call, I take my initial investment out, and I like to let the rest run.
Mm-hmm.
Now, forever?
Well, I'm about to go there. So then the next threshold is, can we get 100% again? So now it's 200. All right, if we get to 200%, I have a threshold. All right, well, I'm gonna take something off the table. If we get to 3, so like this
Micron great question, Overshot.
This Micron call has now got, I'm at like 600%.
So so every time you get 100%, you're scaling contracts.
I'm scaling.
So you start with 10 contracts. Let's say
I start with 20.
Okay, you start with 20 contracts.
Yeah.
You take 10 after that first, then that leaves 10.
Yep.
Then you take 3, because that 10 is, you can't take 5. Well, you take 5. You take 5.
Sometimes.
And
because sometimes it'll appreciate so high that it might take me 2 contracts to get my initial back, right? So they'll say like, hey, it's worth $570. Well, I'm like, well, what did I buy it for initially? Right? It might have been, I don't know, $275. All right, so how many? I need to sell 2 contracts to get that back. Or I'll just say, you know what? I'm gonna let it ride. In fact, if I'm watching the company, so like Micron is a good example. When it gets to 160, I'm looking at the 170 call. I've already made money here. I took my initial investment out. I use some of that initial investment now to reinvest, because the company, I don't think is slowing down, right? Once it gets to 175, 180, we're looking at where can we reposition again. We did this in the car the other day with TSM. I'm like, look, we're going to grab TSM at 285. Why? Bro, trust me, we're grabbing at 285. It's pulled back here from the 300 number. They got their catalyst event coming up. The market's not slowing down. The Fed rate is about to get cut twice. We're rolling into the fourth quarter. The Santa Claus rally looks like it's going to be in effect. We have to win this AI space. This is not a company versus company. This is a national security. They have a key cog in this ecosystem. We're grabbing it. We did. So I'm watching thresholds as we go and saying, okay, here's a place for profit. Here's a place to reinvest, profit, reinvest. And so like when I do these calls and people watch, they're like, wait, you got a bunch of those contracts. I'm like, yeah, this is how we stack them, right? So when I talk about my option stacks, I'm looking at, look, I got 5 MU calls, right? But they've all been stacked out
on top of each other.
The other day, we were going over it in the car. I'm like, yo, I got to reposition. I don't got till 2027. And I'm asking this guy, he's like, oh, you don't? I'm like, he's out into 2027 right now. I'm like, damn, bad, right? So like people have their own strategies and they're saying, all right, that call makes sense. What he said makes sense. I understand the fundamentals because how he broke it down. Here's how I'm going to invest in it, right? I'm actually going to buy more time than Troy did, which is great. I'm not mad at that. So it's all about having your plan, being strategic about it, understanding that there will be pullbacks, but that's also time to say, hey, I can reinvest if it's a strong company. And the companies that we're saying, I'm not just saying them. I spoke about this last night. I'm researching these at least 3 to 6 months before I ever talk about them on Market Mondays. Yep. In fact, I gave 2 companies yesterday, Ian, that I haven't spoken about.
Yep.
Right? Fact, right? One, I didn't even give them the fundamentals. I said, here's the ticker.
Yep.
And then when you look up the research on it, you'll understand why I'm telling you this. So there's an amount of research that goes into it. There's an amount of conviction that goes into it, but there's a strategy that goes into it as well.
Well, yeah, for sure. And I think that that's one of the benefits of being at EY University is that you get that options call once a month, and that's over 2 hours in the online community as far as the app. And shout out to Dahuda and all of the people that's in the app that's really adding the values. And, you know, it's one of these things. I mean, you can only go over so much over a 2-hour conversation at Market Mondays, so we got to talk about 15 different topics. It's kind of hard to really spend 45 minutes just talking about one particular option strategy, but there's a lot that goes into it. And the good thing with UI University is that Troy, he actually says the calls that he's in himself. So, you know, anything is possible. It's not a guarantee, but I mean, you're literally you're riding in the same car that he does. So, you know, it's a vested interest that the thing works out because, I mean, he has money on the line just like you do. So that's one of the great things with EY University. And then even the meetup like we had like in DC, that community is something that's vitally important as far as those regional chapters that we have. And everybody that's been pouring into EY University has really grown and blossomed into something that's extremely impressive. So, you know, I want to thank Magda and everybody that's a part of EY University from the administrative staff standpoint. It's run like a real institution. Vitally important. Access to information is vitally important. Even when we went to NVIDIA last year, like, and we went to NVIDIA, you know, it's a very rare opportunity. It's extremely rare opportunity to, you know, be able to tour NVIDIA's campus. And we got that opportunity for over 90 minutes, and they were showing us, you know, the machines that's currently out, the machines that's going to come out in the future. And they was giving us the roadmap of the next, you know, 10 years as far as how they see things, how they're seeing their business model. And it gave us a lot more confidence even than we had already, because we got to actually, you know, talk to executives. We got to walk the campus. We got to actually see it. So that level of access is like, it's almost invaluable. Like, you really, sometimes in life, you really can't even pay to have that. And even AMD, like, that was something that we, you know, we were in conversations with people that's extremely high level in Silicon Valley. And they were saying like how confident they were in AMD last year, because they're like, look, NVIDIA just is too much work for one company to handle. So when it spills over, AMD is perfectly positioned because they're the second company. And this is somebody that's a senior executive in a Fortune 10 company. And and he was telling us this information about AMD last year. And it was like, you know, it played out. Mike Novogratz, another one. He told us, you know,
step-by-step blueprint.
He said, I'm putting all my money in gold and Bitcoin. And, you know, just talking to one of his friends the other day, and it's public knowledge that Mike Novogratz, I don't know if you've known, but in the last 8 months, he's made $6 billion. His net worth has grown $6 billion over the last year to date.
Yep.
So access to information. So it's like, that's why it's like, you know, if you don't get distracted, you can't get distracted. Because man, it's moving, the world is moving so quickly, but man, this access to information is vitally important.
And
that's
it's rare.
Yeah, sometimes you just gotta listen because, like, even for me, sometimes I don't really feel like talking too much. I like to talk when I have something to say. But other than that, I want to just listen to what other people got to say. If it's Troy, if it's Ian, if it's Mike Novogratz, because it's like you got to listen to the information and be able to process it in real time. And sometimes you're trying to talk and you're not able to listen, and that's going to affect your ability to make money.
Yeah.
So don't let your pride and ego keep you from earning, because it's a lot that's happening right now, and it's not slowing down. It's only going up from here. And everybody that's been telling us everything that they've been telling us has been correct so
Been
far.
accurate. And Mike was one of the first people at Invest Fest when I was on stage with him and Kathy. Thank you. That Bitcoin was going to 250, and he was. I mean, when you see the confidence, and even in the video, it's one thing to know that a company is great because you can see the product, but to be on the campus and see how diligently and see the culture working, that's one of a kind. And I've been to a few campuses. I haven't seen the rate of efficiency per employee like how it was at NVIDIA. It was so quiet. There's no smooth. Nobody was playing fucking foosball in the corner. Everybody was in that working. No, pay for your own lunch. There's no foie gras that you can go get. Everyone is working. It's rare to be able to see. And for Mike to pick up $6 billion this year, Elon to ask for $1 trillion, it sets the stage for what's coming, to see what Trump is doing for Barron and how JP and BlackRock and Blackstone are investing into Bitcoin. Tom Lee investing into Ethereum with this fund is giving you a headwind for how much you need to be okay in the storm that's come. So build your financial arc and save your opinions.
And you heard Eric Trump talking about Bitcoin. That he thinks that it's going to have a tremendous end of year rally. Eventually down the line, it's going to get to $1 million per coin. Some will say, okay, if he's saying that, do the opposite, because he's trying to trap you in so they can unload shares. But I don't know. I think you got to follow the money on a certain level.
You have to.
When you see this much energy being poured into something, these people not just saying it for no reason. And like I said, the thing with Mike, why he said Bitcoin was going to go up, because he felt like everything he said was right. Like, I hate to keep saying it. I don't want to keep saying it, but I'm just saying, like, everything he said was right, because it was like he said Trump is just going to keep adding to the debt. And the debt is at 38 trillion. It's the all-time high at any nation in the world. And he said by adding to the debt, the dollar is going to continue to drop. The dollar has dropped 10% this year. And he said by the dollar dropping, that's going to make gold and Bitcoin more valuable. Gold's at all-time high, and Bitcoin is over 100,000 since June.
Yep.
So you playing games online, but it's not going to work. Really not.
73,000 to the 114.85 now for Bitcoin. It's a hell of a return.
And by the way, we're the only institution that have ever brought these voices or this access to our community.
To our community, for sure.
Whatever criticism you have, whatever thing, there's never been a Black person that that had a conversation with Robert Smith and brought it to you. They had a conversation with Don Peoples and brought it to you. Had a conversation with Mark Cuban twice and brought it to you. They had a conversation with Mike Novogratz and brought it to you. They had a conversation with
Kathy Wood,
David Rubenstein.
Legendary. One of the greatest to ever do it.
It's too many billionaires I'm forgetting. Billionaires that you never heard of. Of course, Magic Johnson and Tyler Perry. I'm talking about dudes you never heard of.
And give you their real playbook, not the PR package shit that they normally do. Mike give you a step-by-step blueprint of what to do.
Yeah. Yo, Robert Herjavec.
Facts.
If you listen to what he said last week, I mean,
shout out to y'all for shooting him in IMAX. What kind of camera? I said this should have been out, and I pick. Amazing interview, by the way. Bro, what
Oh,
a
dope.
shot. My
Jack Dorsey.
Lord.
Forgot to say
Oh, Jack Dorsey. Oh my gosh.
Come
How
on,
could
bro.
we? Forgive us. Forgive us. Ian, can I do something?
Of course.
Can I give away the one because people are asking what stock did I talk about yesterday in Red Panda?
Can we order for next week?
Well, they report on Wednesday, so I want to.
Oh, go ahead.
All right, look. All right, so this company we've been watching for probably about 2 months, 3 months now. And I'll give you the ticker. While I'll tell you the ticker, you can look up the chart. CAT, Caterpillar is the company. Why are we looking at it? Because most people are thinking, hey, that's that company with the yellow tractors and the excavators and the bulldozers. And it's like, wait, they just reached the all-time high in September. And it's like, nah, there's something else going on over there. And when we talk about energy and we talk about the AI space, we talk about how is it going to be powered. And you can talk nuclear, but that takes a long time to get on board, which is why they're trying to get nuclear plants back on board. I know there's one here in New York that's pretty close to us, Indian Point, that they're trying to start again to use as a power source. But that takes a long time. And then solar could take a long time. And so you start thinking like, what are we going to be using? And power generated turbines make a lot of sense because they're here. They're here now. And we can get them online pretty fast. And what does Caterpillar produce? Lo and behold, they produce power generated turbines. And so when you look at companies like Meta, who are trying to get their data centers on board, they're looking for companies like Caterpillar that can help expedite this process. And so this is not just a play where it's going to be, hey, their tractors, their excavators, their bulldozers. No, this is another company, like when we talked about Celestica, that is changing the business model and adding AI into it because everybody sees the potential growth. This is what Caterpillar is doing. Now, they're going to be reporting on Wednesday, so I'm watching that very closely. We may enter a position before earnings, but I may not. It actually is running pretty high. But it's kind of a double-edged sword for them because on top of them helping power and fuel this power source for AI, they also are the people that are going to be selling the equipment to dig and mine the copper that's going to be needed for those data centers.
Picks and shovels all over again.
Yep. Exactly. And so you're talking about picks and shovels and you're talking about power, which is now added to that revenue line. If they get this right, and we can expedite this, right? Because the one thing we know about AI, we don't have time, right? We're talking about a battle with another country. This isn't a matter of, hey, we got 10 years before we can get this online. Like, we need this online tomorrow. And the fastest way we're going to be able to do it is using some of these turbines, which is why we talked about GE Vernova in class and how that's going to help, and Duke Energy and Next Era Energy. All those companies are going to Constellation Energy, right? We talked about their partnership with Microsoft. The other thing that this company has in its favor is that where's its origin?
United States of America, 1925, and it was critical in that World War II. That's why you have to go look at the companies that are retooling, no pun intended. This is literally a race of us versus them, and all hands are, and if you're not exceptional, you're not invited to the table. This is a war that we cannot lose. Like, this is not boots on the ground dropping bombs. This is a tech and chips war for the future, and we're behind. All hands have to be on deck.
Right. This is the new economy. Right. We've been talking about this for 2 years. This is the data center revolution, and it's here to stay. And everybody is adjusting their business models to make sure that they can add that to the growth revenue of their companies, whether it's Salesforce, whether it's Celestica. They're all trying to figure it out. Right. Yeah. And so Cat is the next one that I'm watching very closely. I'm gonna put a case inside EYLU to give y'all more of the details, and who knows, I might make a call on it around options, which I usually don't do, but I might for this one, just because I see the potential growth. Profit margins are strong. They report quarter after quarter pretty strongly. So we're watching this. So stay tuned. If you're in EYLU, make sure y'all go to the community tomorrow, probably around 10:30.
And Juan said it too. Caterpillar is strong even outside of this newest addition to the business model.
Right.
Like, they haven't had a bad year since 2009. Quiet killer, like them and John Deere, just quiet killers. This will only help their case going forward, and is very important in terms of us winning this race.
Yeah, when you look at that, I remember a couple of weeks ago, I'm like, Ian, look at this, look at that chart, bro.
Yeah.
And when you look at it, you're like, oh my gosh, this American Star Wars company is having a historic run and no one's talking about it. And the reason is because what we said, we're thinking that it's bulldozers and it's cranes, infrastructure and machinery, but it's so much more. It's so much more.
Shout out to Red Panda Recap. If you shorted NVIDIA and Microsoft, you deserve to be broke. I love you. Go long only. Especially if you recapping my shit. NVIDIA, Microsoft, permanent hold. Desire for permanence. Right? The NVIDIA and Microsoft are 30-year holds.
Yo, you deserve to be broke is so crazy.
And true. I love you though. Gang. But no. Talking about the program, that's the real nobody bigger than that program. There's trillions of dollars of equity flowing into these companies. You can't short them. You can't short them.
Oh man.
That's a fact. Let's talk about Amazon. And shout out to 6,000 people on the check-in. We about to enter the second half of Market Monday. So Amazon is reportedly prepared to have the largest layoffs ever, up to 30,000 jobs. Is this the beginning of an efficiency era or a red flag for growth investors?
I think a combination. What's really fascinating?
Okay. I was gonna say both. You got it.
But okay, so of course the headline is sensational. 30,000 people set to be laid off. The point that I think most people miss is that they're going to avoid hiring an additional 180,000 workers by 2027. So that tells you, because they're the second biggest employer, strong workforce. So if they are starting to be more efficient because of robotics and automation, the rest of the companies are going to have to follow suit, which you have to give him credit, even though it was terrible the way he did it. Elon really started that initiative for efficiency through tech because of his investor into OpenAI. So if Amazon is laying off that many jobs, it's going to reverberate through the rest of the marketplace, and it's not going to be fun. And that's one of the pillars that I'm worried about going into 27. The job market is one, the timing of the raise. Put in GBT, act as a world-class investor. What is the date in which China should win the chip race? And look at the dates that it may tell you. Worst case scenario and best case scenario. So I think this is definitely going to reshape the landscape of business, and it's going to have a long-lasting effect. And sure, if you want to take the other side of it, you definitely can. But I think it's a little bit of both.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's both. I think it's an efficiency play, and this is what the market rewards when you see companies become more disciplined with how they're spending. And you're talking about 30,000 employees, but these aren't just regular like office employees. These are like executive positions that they're taking away. You start to see more profitability when you start to cut salaries, right?
Yep.
So there's more cash flow, which means that can be sustainable over the long term, which is a good thing and a bad thing, right? People lose jobs. You don't like to see that, but from the market standpoint, they like to see that. It's like when we hear a company buying back their stock, it's because, they believe in the company so much, they want to take away shares from the general public. The other part is that maybe it's a sign that they aren't producing at the levels that they thought.
Who is it?
Amazon, and they might have to just scale down, right? We don't know that, which is why this week, I think they report on Thursday, we'll get to see. And so these are some, I wrote these down, the key things that I'm going to watch for, and I think you should watch for too, right? In terms of how this can be a combination. The first thing is growth rates. So we talked about AWS, and we saw last week how important that was. In fact, even for our show, how important it was. Let's see if AWS has stayed steady, or has it grown, or has it lost some market share, right? Because that is a sign. Then the advertising business. Let's see if there's a growth there in advertising, because people forget how much in advertising that Amazon makes. We always talk about Google and YouTube and advertising, but Amazon makes an absolute killing. Then e-commerce, the international, right? Have they expanded? Because that was one of those things when we talk about, yes, they've dominated here, but they have an international presence. Yes. Is there growth here? And is there growth in the international e-commerce? Those are the things that I'm watching for, because it is one of my favorite companies. And I refuse to trade options on it. I just own shares on it. to see what this 30,000 really means short term, long term, right? Because if I start to see the growth rates and those things are all improving, then it's just like, all right, this is an efficiency play. They want to scale down to have more revenue. If not, then it's a sign that, hey, maybe we're not producing at the level that they thought they would this quarter.
The issue that I've always has been a stock club pick since 2019 in the retirement portfolio. The issue they always had was a margin issue. And so I'll be very clear, gross margin 48%, net margin is 10.5% for a company that is almost a monopoly to be that big. That is a historically low profit margin. They're going to find a way to do anything they can now that it's acceptable to get the human capital costs off the balance sheet to drive profit up. And they are going to set the table for it to be okay for everyone else to do so. But once again, 2027, they're going to avoid hiring another 180,000 workers. That's a big number to keep your eyes on. And if that stays true, the way that corporate is going to be reshifted, we're never going to go back to mass hiring the way that it was once done.
Yeah. Yeah. And that profit margin is actually improved. We've seen it at like
5. Yeah.
4%. When you said 10, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
It's actually improving.
10.55. Yep.
And they're one of the leaders in terms of CapEx spend when it comes to AI.
But you got to give them credit for that, because through truncated net margin, they've always invested for the future, and now they are in a position to take advantage of it. They may be the preeminent company that ushers in that iRobot type, which is another thing that Elon is trying to do. And it's a race even amongst tech as we're in the war with China to see who can get automation and efficiency at scale, which is going to decimate the job market. For sure.
They kind of just been quiet, but just steadily, like, I mean, if you look at the stock, it's pretty much been flat for the year when you look at it. But even some of the moves they've made, like with their data center expansion, their partnership with Anthropic, them increasing their partnership with Anthropic, they're making the moves. But I'm with you. I think they've always had the long-term approach, like we're going to invest now big so that we can pay off later.
Yeah, but in April, they were at 160.90. They're currently at 226.97. So given the hard capital costs that they have, they've done a pretty tremendous job. And like you said, moving up that net margin from 5 to 10% or 10.55% over the last year and a half has been great.
Yeah.
Okay. So China, tariffs, that's another driver for the market.
Here we go again.
Because Trump, his administration signaled that they could be coming potentially close to a deal with China. They're going to potentially be meeting P. Jong Chin. What's his name?
President Yi from China?
Yeah.
Yi, isn't it?
No, Chin.
Xi Jinping?
Xi Jinping. Xi Jinping and Donald Trump are going to potentially be meeting next week. So they said that they're pretty close to having a deal where they're going to work out buying some stuff from America, sharing their rare earth minerals. The U.S. is going to lower tariffs. It looks like we're going to get, what most people expect to have some level of middle ground. That was good for the market. But we haven't really received a deal yet since he actually started this whole tariff thing in April. China and America they don't have a long-term deal yet. So one of the strategies that they've been using is just kind of leaking information.
For sure.
To just keep the markets happy with the thought of potentials, then, having short-term tariffs, pulling it back, saying, we're going to hit them hard with tariffs, and then saying, okay, well, potentially this isn't going to last long. Just kind of moving the markets just based off of words and speculation, but not actually any real action. So are we close to actually seeing real action? And if that does happen, how will that impact the markets?
I've always said that regardless of what happens geopolitically, like the market is permanently rigged to stay up. I think that he's talking his book, and like you said, they're leaking information to then hopefully get a positive outcome. But the tariff talk really has not negatively affected the market. Like I know it's from a headline standpoint, it's worrisome, but inflation, recession fears, geopolitical. We had the issue with CrowdStrike the year before, inflation, deflation, political instability. None of that in the grand scheme of things matters. Like if you are investing for the long term into quality, that ends up being a blip on the radar. Look at all the issues were caused by DeepSeek. That panned out to be nothing. April panned out to be nothing. The pandemic, even though it was one of the greatest health scares in my lifetime, it ended up presenting as one of the greatest buying opportunities in the history of investing. My message to you tonight is to not worry about the noise. They'll iron that out amongst them, and they'll play nice amongst each other when they have to. But as far as your portfolio, it does not matter. It's not even a top 5 concern for me.
They're gonna figure this out because they got to figure this out. They're meeting Thursday. I think the first thing they're gonna do is consummate the TikTok deal. So that's a good sign for investors in Oracle and companies that will be part of that. I know Dell's part of that. But they'll figure this out. We've said this for the past 4 months. It'll get delayed. It'll get pushed back. But ultimately, they'll figure this out.
And then he flip-flopped. That's what a taco thing. Can you even flailed on your position? Well, I'm gonna extend that. Well, okay, once again, program. You're not bigger than a CCP program. I'll say what you want to. You can act tough against until you meet a demon, and then you're like, well, bro, 90 more days for us to come to an agreement. It does not matter.
We put tariffs back on Canada. The market just kind of like, all right. I think at this point, that's why I said the effectiveness of that press release of we're going to put tariffs, we're going to do this, until it's cemented and meetings have happened and there's not going to be anything that comes from it. We might see something, but we'll delay it 90 days, push it back 90 days. And now here we are in October.
Yeah.
Ian, as a trader, how much do you, or just in general, how much do you rely on technical analysis versus fundamentals?
I've always said fundamental analysis is just presented as technicals on the screen. You need both. There isn't, like back in the 1960s, 70s, early 80s, you had value investor versus growth. You had fundamental analyst versus technical. We have so much information, like you have to have both. And if not, you're doing yourself a tremendous disservice. I also think knowing the geopolitical landscape, and I've always said this, that knowing the companies that are going to move the GDP of America is the number one technical indicator that you need. Going back to program, there's a reason why investment just came into Intel this year from the administration, and then through the Biden investment prior. That's because they couldn't get the chip company they really wanted. So you have to know both, because if you don't know, like when we first started the show, people were like, why don't you like wheat stocks? Well, they're not quality for one. The move in wheat stocks was to be invested into them pre-IPO, which I know a few people who made $20 or $30 million. But in the IPO market, they're not favored amongst hedge funds, pension funds, or even the government. So now your biggest competition is the United States government. It's not going to work. So if you don't know both, you're going to be in disaster. And the prime example of that was Beyond Meat. I got a bunch of people hitting me like, yo, Beyond. I'm like, Beyond Meat, the product itself is not the best, let alone the stock. No. So in this era, you will have an advantage in definitely knowing both.
Yeah. The meme coins don't even, the meme stocks don't even feel the same anymore. I think that's part of that sophisticated retail investor. Like, people understand that they can trade that and make money, but the craze around it is very different this year for sure.
And you can get the same return out of the meme stocks in real companies now. The companies had to adjust. because of Bitcoin and the NFT move. Like they adapted to get you the sensational gain in a safe company. That's rare.
Can you talk about one technical analysis indicator?
I really like the combination of the 72 period moving average with the 210 moving average with the 420 period moving average, because it tells you worst case scenario, mid case scenario, and like a quick entry. For those of you asking, it's not my crystal ball, but I do like those three paired with each other over a long time frame to be able to know worst case scenarios what we could drop to, for sure.
I'll give you this, man, and shout out to everybody in the Investors Club. They talk about that 400 EMA all the time. They're like, yo, shout out to Ian. So if people want to talk about things that you missed, like make sure that they add that to the things that you.
No, but don't do that because you're giving them content. That's why I don't want to give. That's why Ian,
I want to give him his praise.
No, but when we giving people content,
and
that's that you can't do that, like, because when you don't have any motion, you gotta attach yourself to something. So that's why we can't even indirectly say something.
Breathe life into it.
They're gonna make a clip about it, and try to make a reaction video based off of something, like, you know what I mean? Like,
well, let me give him his credit here straight, my brother.
One of the greatest ever touched.
So this is like when your name gets spoken in rooms that you're not in. That's happening, and a lot of it is happening around that 400 EMA that you kind of brought to definitely this space. So shout out to you for that, my guy.
The global space,
the world.
For the record, thank you. Thank you.
So
Rashad, were you right? And great, facilitate the floor. Hey, flex ain't working. Pin down. You right.
72.
72, 210, 420.
Got you.
That's a fact.
Y'all appreciate me when I'm going. When I sail off. Like, damn, I miss the good old days when they used to hop on there. You know, but love for the game. Love for the game.
Okay. So let's talk about.
Can we really quick? I love the move that Qualcomm made while they're readjusting their business model. But can we be clear that Qualcomm is not AMD or NVIDIA?
Let's talk about it.
Or TSM or like. I love the readjustment and refocus of Qualcomm and what they're doing, but I want to be very clear. They're not NVIDIA. They're too late to the party. They're not AMD. They're not TSM. Like, they're not in that class. They may be low B, C tier. I do love the move of adjusting, but can we be very honest and get your thoughts on, or tell us why they are not in that same class as my baby NVIDIA or AMD or TSM?
I think you got the first part. They're kind of late to the party. Qualcomm is pretty much known for telecommunications, and so you'll see them inside of a lot of phones. The move to GPU is new for them, which takes time to get online. But what they're, I mean, these are just announcements, right? Like what they're saying is that they're moving to the GPU space. But I had to figure out, like, this A1200, what is it comparable to, right? Like this chip that they announced that won't be here. They just announced it as a product that's going to be happening in 2026. No knock to them, but this is what actually happened to them.
Yeah.
And then the A1250 won't be here till 2027. So you're 2 years out from that product, and you're 1 year out from this product. Comparable, right? In terms of what it actually does, its function, it's comparable to NVIDIA's H1 Hopper.
No, that's a once in a lifetime product.
So think about
very
that.
Clear. Yep.
Right. So they're not competing with NVIDIA, but are they trying to make an indentation of what AMD does? I guess you can say that, because it'll be a lesser price point. I know they're talking about having a chip that has more energy efficient, has more memory, so you don't have to put other high bandwidth memory companies inside of it, which is why when we opened the market, you saw Micron shoot up to 225, and it kind of pulled back a little bit with this announcement. Okay. But the key here is, who are they partnering with? Because when we talk about AI, the table's kind of been set.
Yeah.
It's been set, right? Like, we know who the players are, right?
And you're not going to be able to do nothing in quantum, which is the next table.
They're not the table's been set, and everybody has kind of grabbed a piece of who they're going to be with, right? Whether it was Nvidia working with everybody, or it was Broadcom and who they're working with OpenAI. OpenAI saying we're going to have a 10% stake in AMD. So if that's the company you're competing with, and OpenAI has a 10% stake in that, good luck, because who are you going to partner with? Which makes me believe that there is so the company that they actually are partnered with now in terms of telecommunications, Apple, is interesting. But I think like Apple's not in that space. I think they want to create their own chips. I think they want to do their own thing.
Has to keep everything in house.
To get online, to get inside of data centers, it's not as easy as, hey, I made this GPU, let me put them in data centers. Like it's not. There's going to need to be technology that's built around it. There's going to need to be software that's built around it. There's going to need to be models that are optimized. There's going to be integration. There's going to be support. There's going to be connectivity. All those things have to happen, and you're just announcing the product. It's not even here yet.
It's not even here. And I know I've had tremendous criticism for Intel. You're not in Intel's class. And that's
because they partnered, right? By force.
And already have infrastructure that now, and back to fundamental analysis, one of the most important things when you're looking at fundamentals is, do they have a superior product that cannot be encroached by any competition? Nvidia has that. Qualcomm does not. It's nowhere near close. It's like everybody who kept saying they're going to be the LeBron killer or next LeBron, and they never panned out to be that. Put it in chat. Some companies and products are once in a lifetime. Hopper has that. iPhone has that. This is not. If you're comparing yourself to the top of the class, that's not. OpenAI is that. Anduril is that. Eli Lilly is that. This is not that.
So I just want to put in context, right? When I compared it to Hopper, that's the chip that Nvidia said that we could send to China, right? Because the United States said we couldn't send the highest level of chip to them, so we could send Hopper. Since Hopper, they've had Blackwell. Right, Blackwell Ultra will be coming out at some point at the top of next year. And then we have Rubin, and then we have 4 new products that we already announced that probably already roll out at any point. And you have a product that you're announcing that is not ready to be rolled out. For context,
Silent Assassin Rashad though is the vibe for 2025, 2026. I know that's what good friendship, good partnership would do. Got you. Jensen vibes. I feel you.
You heard me.
Yep.
You heard me. Yeah. So congrats to Qualcomm on the announcement.
Great adjustment. Too little, too late though.
But again, another company making a shift. Right? How do we get a piece of this AI data center GPU revenue growth?
Rare earth minerals. This is something that most people nobody was talking about rare earth minerals.
No.
And nobody knew that China owns 70% of rare earth minerals. Who knew that? So rare earth minerals, right? This is all the talk over the last couple of weeks once people found out how much rare earth minerals China actually has in its home country.
Yep.
So which rare earth mineral investments make sense to hold for the next 10 to 20 years?
I want to do a quick diversion, and I'm going to ask a question with a question. For everyone who's interested in the sector, would you be interested in the sector if it was not for the AI investment or NVIDIA's foray? If the answer is no, are you gambling or do you have true belief in the company? Because a lot of times what ends up happening is you may miss the initial wave or initial table, and you want to go to the secondary players like the reseller shop, when the right move is to invest in a sector that's going to move the GDP. So I'm not saying that you should not have exposure to rare earth, but the difference with Caterpillar, the people who were investing in Caterpillar prior to the AI foray already loved Caterpillar because of the returns it was given. So although there's a great boost, I would offer, if you were not looking to invest into rare earth, why are you doing so now if there's still more meat on the bone of the main sector?
Yeah. Not my sector. Not invested in rare earth. I know a lot of people were talking about USAR. as something that they were investing in terms of how the U.S. could benefit from it. And we saw that stock run up. And then obviously with the announcement that there's potentially a truce and a deal, we watched this stock come back down to life, so to speak. But yeah, just not my space. Just not my space. I'm with you. I feel
it's
like
a good sector to trade, but
Yeah.
investment wise,
yeah, I'm locked in this technology, semiconductor, anything energy. I'm locked in on that right now, just because I feel like that's where the growth is. Not to say that doesn't happen in other sectors, it does. But when I start watching companies, like we talked about, Salesforce is another one we could talk about, changing their business model to figure out how they're going to get that growth, it tells me that's the sign where the money's going.
Yeah, and you can do VanEx ETF if you want exposure, but I'm not a fan of the space overall. And the space has been around. Like the last high, even if you look at REMX, VanEx ETF, the last high was in 2022. Good trade if you want to play the trade, but I'm always talking long term first. Long term is not even a comparison if we're looking at that versus AI or the chip side or NVIDIA. It's not even. No.
Okay, so question for the audience: who has the most oil? What country has the most oil reserves in the world? Put in chat.
It's a good question.
What country?
Don't GPT it.
Yeah, don't chat GPT it. What country has the most oil reserves in the world? Saudi Arabia, somebody said. Russia, somebody said. Uganda, Venezuela, Russia, Saudi Arabia, Argentina, US, Saudi Arabia, Canada, US,
Good answers.
UAE, Saudi. Now it's getting crazy. Venezuela has the most oil reserves.
You don't say. Do you think?
What?
Venezuela has more oil reserves than Saudi Arabia. And if you've been watching the news, you see that very interesting things have been happening in Venezuela. First, the main political opposition that has openly said that if she gets elected, one of the first things that she's going to do is privatize the oil industry and work with American corporations, wins the Nobel Peace Prize. That's interesting. And then an all-out assault on Venezuelan fisher boats that they saying is smuggling drugs off the coast of Venezuela,
and they were not
getting shot down by high-grade USA military assault machine, just obliterated. Yesterday on 60 Minutes, Florida congressman or senator, former governor of Florida, said that hinted to the fact that the president of Venezuela, something bad is going to happen to him very soon. That was he said. He said, if I was him, I would leave and go to China or Russia because something bad is going to happen to him very soon.
Yep.
President Trump admitted to having CIA covert operations running in Venezuela. The president of Colombia, which is the next door neighbor to Venezuela, said that the United States is mad at him because he's not going to support military action to invade Venezuela.
And there's been a lot of unrest in Colombian politics the last 2 years. So you got to be careful too. But go ahead.
For sure, 100%. And that's the new overarching theme, that America is going to bring democracy to South America.
Oh, man.
You think they got all them warships just to let them sit in the sea? There's real war games being played. It's above my pay grade. Rashad, this is part where I agree with the program.
Battleship.
I can't even leave for real. I can't even open up the program. Just a new the geopolitical program. Interesting timing though. And one thing you can't say about this administration, they're talking their book and they're telling you what they're gonna do. Big boogeyman vibes. 1, 2, coming for you. Crazy.
Yep. Indeed.
Put silent assassin in chat when you know to stop talking.
No comprende. No comprende.
I'll just do a show on YouTube and make up stuff on the fly for the record. Deposition vibes. I don't know. Como se dice. But Venezuela, keep your eye on.
Big earnings week.
Thank you. Matter of fact,
you know
which
what?
companies are you looking at for this week's earnings?
It's a big earnings week. You know, Ian, Shadi, it's a big earnings week here. It's the Mag 7 will be reporting. Obviously, Tesla did last week. We got Microsoft, we got Amazon, we got Apple, and we have Meta this week.
I think Meta's going to hit a home run.
You think? Yeah, I mean, we watched a run up here for Apple hitting its all-time high this week. It's at $4 trillion. Quietly, it has now passed Microsoft in market cap. That's a hell of a story. It is sitting just under $4 trillion, but it is now number 2, just behind Nvidia. Well, not just behind, but behind Nvidia, which is interesting. Interested to see the numbers that come in from Apple. But yeah, I'm with you. The two I'm interested in watching are Microsoft and Meta.
It's crazy that they want Elon to build almost two Nvidias to pay him $1 trillion. That's crazy. Like when you go look at those benchmarks, those are just even on robotics. But yeah, Meta will do great. Amazon, I think, will do great. Microsoft will do great.
Yeah, we got. I mean, there's a couple outside the Mag 7. There's a couple that we've spoken about. Definitely in the portfolio. We talked about Corning in our last class. GLW ticker. They report before the market opens tomorrow. Visa, right?
My baby.
Which is another one of these strong. When you're talking about consumer sentiment and you want to see consumer patterns, Visa is a good indicator of that. We got Chipotle on Wednesday, Starbucks, Caterpillar will be reporting before opening on Wednesday. Lilly, I mean, it's a big week, man. Lilly on Thursday, Coinbase, Strategy, so formerly MicroStrategy, is reporting as well on Thursday. Cloudflare, which people keep reminding me that we spoke about, and I'm like, we talk about so many companies, but Cloudflare was one of them. Net is the ticker. They report on Thursday, and then obviously every time you see those Mag 4 report, there's always Exxon and Chevron that end the week on that Friday. So it's a big week, big tech week, but a lot of these other companies that are outside that Mag 7 reporting that are going to give us a good indication of kind of how the market is moving. ADP reports as well. So we'll see some of those numbers that kind of give us a tell of like what's happening in the economy.
Keep your eyes on what Starbucks CEO says they are going to do to reshape the retail experience, because that may tie into the Amazon job story. I think Chipotle is in trouble though. They need to reimagine a couple things too.
Did I leave out Google? Google reports as well.
Google hit a home run. Another fundamental indicator: sentiment from executive or CEO. Going back to Access, we had a chance to meet the Visa CEO. I have never seen a CEO so confident, regardless of what the economic terrain is, how their business is going to do. One of my favorite companies. Debit card purchase volume. They get 74% of all debit card purchases, 61% of overall that's credit card, debit, and prepaid, and 52% of all credit card purchases. They have a legal monopoly and a great tech stack on top of that.
And the international market share.
Yes, insane.
Gold. How far can gold fall, and what's a good entry part for gold?
Great question. How far could it fall? Worst case scenario. Worst case scenario. $36 86 worst case scenario. But more importantly, like how far will it continue to rise and what point will it ultimately go to? I think going into next year, we should see gold get to like 48, 85, 50. So there's still more meat on his bump. Pause if I need to do that and be immature. There's more room for the asset to go up. So funny. See? Joke.
That was good. That was good, man.
Thank you.
Questions from the audience. If y'all got some questions,
That was good.
we could take some questions. This is live. The show is live. So
What we got?
You got some questions, put some questions in the chat.
Some great questions too. And shout to Bloomberg Nicole yesterday for asking amazing questions after we got off the call with Troy yesterday, call of the year. Thank you, my brother.
I appreciate you, man.
Rashad, good way to be floor facilitator and star point guard. It's a key lesson. You gotta listen to comrades in terms of battle, when to accelerate and when to chill. One thing Elon, I will say, did do wrong. He didn't rally enough of the board members to help them understand how they would benefit from that compensation package. That's one place he did go wrong.
That's a fact.
For sure.
Thoughts on adding a Bitcoin ETF to my portfolio?
Fire away.
Yeah, I just did it. Yeah. I actually just did it 2 weeks ago. I got a pamphlet from Morgan Stanley about the opening of the ETF and where the allocations are. Yeah, I think, I mean, you want to have exposure, but you don't want to have Bitcoin itself. If you want to have exposure in your brokerage account, I think it's a safe thing to do.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that. Give us another opportunity to get in Troy option. Oh boy.
I'm in a good mood, so I won't, do my normal rally cry. But the next time advice is given, maybe it will behoove you.
The next one is the now.
Mm-hmm.
Physical goal versus paper goal.
My thought has always been, I get it, but if you don't have a way to protect and store that gold, physical gold is going to be tough because it could be taken from you. Just being very honest. So,
and you have to have a seller, you have to have a buyer for it.
For sure.
So it becomes a little bit more of a complicated process to just sell gold, even if you have a brick of gold. A brick of gold. If you have a brick of gold, what would you do right now? You have to think about it. If you have gold ETF, I mean, you could just, it's nothing to think about. So you would, not to say that you'll be able to sell a brick of gold, but I'm pretty sure it's not that easy.
If you haven't built your own sellers network, you're going to get depreciation and them taking advantage of you for not having a sellers network to be able to move it fast.
Yeah, what would you do? Is it safe deposit box in a bank?
Yeah, safe deposit box or vault.
Vault.
But even in the vault, you need arms and army to help protect.
You think that's what people are doing that are buying it from Costco?
They're putting it in the vault or at the bank for sure. For sure.
That was a hell of a move by them. I know we talked about it, but that's still a hell of a move.
Genius move.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Somebody says Fairfield County, but Westchester County. Y'all kidding me?
What about
Stop it?
A preview of Blackout, the gambling situation, because this is a financial topic. We talked about DraftKings a lot. So DraftKings and all these gambling companies has really put a black cloud over the sports industry.
Have they?
Yeah, I think it's definitely, it's an unwanted conversation for sure. When you have, professional coach getting arrested by the FBI, that's crazy. And you got active players getting investigated, former players. And yeah, I mean, nobody wants the FBI to have an ongoing investigation in a sports league. That's not good for business.
I agree, but is DraftKings and Prize Picks the cancer, or has that always been embedded in American sports, and now American citizens are really just finding out about it?
No, it's always been embedded, but it hasn't been embraced, right? So it's like for a long time, gambling was illegal, and it wasn't like something that was pushed in Vegas. Then it was like, okay, you can gamble in certain areas. Then online came, and then you can gamble in certain states, but it still wasn't fully embraced. Now it's fully integrated with every major sports league, right? Like they actually are promoting it, commercials, sponsorships, and it's integrated. This is the first time in history, in American sports history, that the gambling is fully integrated in professional sports. So
What if, or should I say for blackout?
I'm wondering why you're questioning it, because I'm interested in, like, are you thinking in terms of sports leagues have watched these rings make so much money that they had to figure out a way to make sure that they profited from it as well? Is
And
that was
also a way to clean up the families that have had vested interest in those leagues on the black market side. That's the other war that's not talked about. If I can elevate and weaponize the tech bros to go against a consortium that I personally cannot face, but even in that, and how some of the information is coming out, kudos to Chauncey, because Chauncey's legend, especially in Colorado, Denver, George Washington, great point guard, etc. Why is he the face of it? And then when the New York Times put out who was really behind it, they're not front and center. It's a lot of propaganda happening at one time, but I'll leave said families out of it.
yeah, said families. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. That's part of it. I mean, it's not even just embedded in sports. It's embedded in, I mean, media and culture, right? Like you look at, talked about it enough, where this is being advertised on and who's listening to it, what's the demographic. But the other side is that the Chauncey case, the Rozier case is one thing where it's like sports betting and parlays. The other place is like poker games that are being rigged, and that's like a whole another separate thing. Like that's outside of the FanDuels and the DraftKings. These are like personal, like money games that are happening, which we see all the time, right?
It
Like,
happens everywhere, every major city.
But not at this. I guess not at this level and the amount of money that's being lost. But maybe it is happening. We just don't know. The fact that those guys were the face of it when there was a larger conspiracy that actually happened means very. I mean, are we surprised?
yeah, I mean, we can talk about it on Blackout, but
We'll talk about it on Blackout.
It's one of these things where it's you got to learn your lessons in life. That's what they always tell you. There's two things that you stay away from: is drugs and gambling, because there's no benefit in it.
Yeah.
From a standpoint of like drugs, to me, there's no benefit in drugs, because if you use drugs, you're going to turn into a junkie and you're going to ruin your life. But even if you sell drugs, 9 times out of 10, you're going to get arrested or you're going to get killed, or it's not going to turn out good for you. So nobody in that situation really wins. The drug dealer doesn't win.
The user doesn't win.
The drug user doesn't win in the long term. It's just like gambling's the same thing to me. Gambling it's a lose-lose game. And it's like, even in like very serious environments, we interviewed Jonathan Alvarez, good brother. He was incarcerated. He came home. He was like, you go to jail. The first thing they tell you is don't gamble. Because if you really think about it, even from an illegal, because they're doing illegal gambling is very dangerous for a lot of different standpoints. Because it's like, if you lose, it's dangerous because you got to pay money. And if you don't pay money, it's illegal gambling, right? So the way that they can handle you is a little bit differently. But even if you win, it's dangerous. Because if I'm gambling against you and you lose and I win, you have the option to say I'm not paying you. It puts me in a weird situation, because now I have to
gamble with your life.
I have to do something to you, which is
get your honor.
But I'm putting my life in jeopardy. If I don't do something to you, my whole credibility is gone.
Your life is in jeopardy.
People are going to walk over me. So now in that moment, I'm in a lose-lose situation.
Yep.
Because I got to do something to you that's very bad, which is going to potentially hurt me, or I don't do anything to you, and that's going to potentially hurt.
The word spreads. Yep.
Over a long period of time, because once you get trespassed on,
the door's not stop.
The door's open.
So, and it's a great lesson in life. If you go into a game being a fan and don't know how you're going to win, you're the liquidity. So a lot of these games that happen, and people, how did this happen? Because some people were just being endless groupies.
Yes.
You're the setup. Have to be. If you don't know going into a game how you're going to win, you lost before you even start.
So this is important from a preservation of wealth standpoint, because most of the time we talk about how to generate wealth, and that's investing and that's making intelligent decisions. But you also have to preservation of wealth is extremely important as well. And these are people that's already extremely rich, and they're gambling. Why would you preserve your money? And by doing these things, it's something that we got to actually talk about, just decisions that people make, because it's kind of like just the same thing. You get caught up with women. Few bad decisions can bring down your whole entire situation. Bro. It's like walking a landfill. Once you really got money, it's like walking a landfill, because you make one bad thing and the whole thing blows up. So yeah, you got to be careful as far as the decisions that you make when it comes to women, but you also got to be careful about the decisions that you make in life. And it's like you're gambling. You've made money, and you're gambling, and you're going to ruin millions of dollars for a $7,000 poker game. So you gotta be disciplined. And that goes back to, like I said, it's wealth building, but it's also wealth preservation. It's about having discipline. It's about making intelligent decisions, and it's about saying no. A lot of times in life, you have to have enough self-awareness and enough self-confidence to not be a follower.
Key point: if you are independently rich or wealthy, why do you have desire to be around street family?
Exactly.
Guys?
Exactly.
For what?
Why you want to go back to a life that you never lived?
That
anyway?
you never was involved.
You wasn't a street person to begin with, because if you were a street person, you wouldn't have made it to the NBA.
You're the liquidity.
You made it to the NBA, and then you want to roll dice in the back of an illegal gambling operation that's not regulated, and risking your life. Like, why would you do that? You want to play unregulated where you're getting hustled, and why would you put yourself in this situation?
Or make yourself the face of it to bring more people in.
Yep. You got to have morals, man.
What are we doing? Allegedly.
Because once you get in, you can't get out. There was a bunch of times I didn't been to Mexico, and I'm like, yo, such cartel, I'll give you 30 million to do. No. No, for what? Shout to them. No, thank y'all for looking out. No, I don't want to hang out. A lot of y'all, and a lot of times, the first time you get ensnared is through the hangout at the club. Come sit in the section, and that's why everywhere I go, I want to pay my own fees, because then that tab starts to run on what you owe. And just because you cool with the little underlings, Hefe may not say, you're in. You're in. You'll never be able to clean up that debt.
Because you got to understand too, Ian always says, once you get money, everybody's trying to take the money from you.
It's the clock starts for the game for everybody in the world to take it from you.
So you have swindle con artists that's trying to take the money from you. You have crooked attorneys and lawyers. The thieves that wear a suit. Then you got the thieves that actually wear a ski mask. You got to have security. You got to know what to post, what not to post. Then you take
care of the security. Who with you?
Then you got women and men groupies, men and women groupies. That sole priority in their life is to try to extract as much wealth from you as possible.
You got the lawsuit crash outs, assault.
Then you have vices, drugs, gambling, partying,
women.
Everything is designed to take money from you. That's why it's extremely difficult to keep money for a long period of time. Most of the time, even if you get money, your kids is going to blow it. Very few people have wealth for 3 generations.
Oh, it's tough. Even in Silicon Valley, because people say, well, maybe the aptitude wasn't high enough. In Silicon Valley, there's a whole scandal of espionage happening from escorts and girlfriends delivering information from U.S. tech companies to China.
That's a fact.
At the highest scale, at some of your favorite companies getting finessed at them little conferences. The war games are real. Then even media, there's paid media to even create dissension amongst groups. That's why you got to keep your circle tight for y'all to even fall out so they can take the money and assets away from you real time.
The espionage play, indeed.
Espionage is at an all-time high. We're living through Mission Impossible and war games right now.
Yeah, man. Keep the family close, man.
At all times. Yep.
And
then if you get security or shooters and all that stupid shit, you got to pay them so well because they know that you're not going to bust your gun. So you got to pay them well enough to not rob you.
Yeah, it's like jury. You got to pay more for the security than the actual jury because you're scared for your life wearing a jury. So you got to pay the security to protect your jury. It's a lot that goes into it.
And this happens at every tier of wealth.
And that's the part that nobody really talks about either. As far as when you get money, how do you protect your money? How do you not make mistakes? Because it's not easy.
The driver network. Where you get your even a girl, where a girl come from to love you so much when you never been loved like that before in your life? Oh, I admit that the love of my life. Did you? Or she got sent?
It sounds crazy until you actually witness it.
And then you lost half, and then we ain't even talk about divorce.
Oh,
we had a whole episode. Shout out to Subject Nash. That's another play. You got to protect yourself at all times. You going into a relationship, and then the majority of these professional athletes go broke after they're done playing. And one of the main driving factors is that they get a divorce shortly after their career is over. Now you got to pay half of what you get, and you're not making any more income. So now you got to look at it from a standpoint of you got to protect yourself in a relationship.
And for those y'all who in that NBA and NFL locker rooms, some of your own teammates gambling and putting you in bad investments and bad circles with bad advisors because they told you it was good, but they never used them because they don't like you, and now you done lost half your wealth with a bad advisor. There's some treacherous games going. These just 10 we just said off the top of our head. Gotta be careful. You can call us paranoid. One of the things I love most about no address. Smart man. You have to protect yourself at every corner. It's too much to lose. And even for those of you who may be at not where you want to be at, there are girls who are watching to see your potential as you rise to know when to get you at your peak.
Paul.
Fact.
Safety, man.
It's a dirty game, man.
It's a dirty game, yo.
Dirty game.
But stay sober.
Stay sober, please.
Go listen to Kendrick,
stay
man.
sober, man.
Jensen ain't signed another breast since that one conference.
He said, find you one. It's getting tricky out here.
For real.
It's getting tricky, man.
Yep.
Y'all be safe.
Keep your head up and your eyes open. All right, y'all. It's been real.
Yep.
Blackout on Wednesday, 10 o'clock. Earn your leisure. Thursday, 6 o'clock. Detroit, Friday.
Yep.
We will be in your area.
Stock Club Sunday, 5 p.m. Central. Replay will be out this Tuesday. I appreciate you, show. Rashad, what you working on? Silent Assassin. We'll see you. Yep.
Stay tuned alert has been issued.
Oh, then the investment advisor. You got to watch them. Because if you're in the NBA, they take your money. But then what you going to do? Kill them? No. You too high profile.
I mean, the institutional bank advisor. Yo, bro, we can guarantee you 4%.
I mean, it's every advisor. Bernie Madoff.
I can get you 7%.
$10 billion over the course.
They knew. Them reports was coming in 9 years prior, before AI.
Man,
Bernie was trading so many options, though that many options were not available on the shit he was trading. How you have 7.2 call options on in a liquid company? What the? Okay.
Wild Wild West, man.
So
yeah. All right, y'all.
Yo, y'all be good, man.
Now that we scared you to death, go to bed.
Oh yeah, you got Adrian Peterson got locked up. You got to put that in the show notes.
Adrian Peterson?
Yeah, he's still in jail. DWI.
Prayers to my dog.
Yeah, prayers up to the dude. All right, y'all. Y'all be good to each other. Thoughts and prayers out to the island. I got some barrels, and I'll let everybody know what we can do to help. I'm sure they're gonna need some.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah, absolutely.
First and foremost, yep.
Y'all be good. Happy birthday to my dad again.
Happy birthday.
78 years,
Love
young
you,
man.
Great
Love
energy.
you. Reach out, call somebody, text somebody, show some love. EYLU. I'm gonna put that in the chat tomorrow. Be on the lookout for that. Let's go make some money, y'all. Be good.
Then they get to making money on the money that you have in the reserves that you should. It's a cold world out here, y'all.
If they say 30 on the 30 M's, only way to.
I said, "No, I'm good. I'm good.
Yo, be safe, y'all. Be safe. Love.